I think what is significant is that this is the fifth time a French president is going to be the chief guest on the 26th of January, which, as you know, is the Republic Day celebrations on our Champs-Élysées, which is Rajpath in India, and we have a beautiful demonstration of India's art, culture, defense. This is also the second time that the French president is going to India on a state visit, which is also exceptional. And it is Mr. Hollande who's going to India on second time within his quinquennat, as you people say. So that's also significant. But more than anything else, to me, it is extremely important that we have a new Prime Minister in India, and he took over in May 2014. And within this period of time, President Hollande and Prime Minister Modi have met 5 times. And relationship has gone from strength to strength. So I think it's a wonderful way of showcasing the strategic partnership that exists so happily between the two countries. And there is no better illustration of this than the French president witnessing the National Day parade. And one more first, absolutely all-time first, we have never had foreign troops on Indian Rajpath. Never. This is the first time that we've always had only Indian troops and Indian schoolboys and schoolgirls marching. But we are going to have, if all goes well, a French band playing the music and French troops marching past along with Indian troops. I think just in terms of the image that this gives you on television, and millions of people in India and all over the world will be watching this, I think it will be the showcasing of something absolutely spectacular between the two countries. And when the horrific attacks happened in November, I think you had virtually everybody in India, from the President, Prime Minister, Defense Minister, Foreign Minister, everybody condemning it in absolutely unconditional terms, the barbaric attacks that happened in Paris. It now so happens that both India and France are not just victims of terrorist attacks, but also we are now closely involved in fighting this evil scourge. I'm really proud to say that while I have not seen the final delegation list from France, we have been given to understand that the President will go at least with 4 big ministers. And when I say big ministers, we are talking defense, we are talking foreign affairs, we are talking ecology, and we are talking finance. And those are the big ministries. So I think it will be a very, very important, significant delegation which will go from France, with President Hollande heading the delegation. You talked about the economic aspect, and I think that's extremely important. The President of France is going to land in Chandigarh. That is going to be the first stop. If all goes well, and we are still planning, Chandigarh will have the CEO's forum, the Chief Executive Officers Forum. We have a private sector forum between the two countries, and that will take place in Chandigarh. Then, of course, he will go to Delhi, and in Delhi we have a very well laid out schedule for people who come as chief guest for the Republic Day. So 25th and 26th, there will be a very detailed program in which there will be bilateral talks, there will be the participation in the parade, and we will have, of course, a state banquet dinner, and then there will be a substantial conversation between the two leaders, and we hope to have a good substantive joint statement after the visit. Prime Minister Modi has brought incredible energy in foreign policy. It's very obvious the way he travels and the way he makes an impact. So if you just see the kind of schedule that he has followed, he believes in 3 things. One, he tries to establish a personal rapport with leaders. which has happened between Prime Minister Modi and President Hollande, but also with other leaders. Secondly, he often, as you rightly said, talks about Make in India. So we are trying to see how we can use foreign policy or have foreign policy for attracting investment, for developing the bilateral trade, commerce, investment relationship, and lastly, try and see how both countries can have similar views on problems affecting the world. For example, the Indian Prime Minister came to Paris to participate in the COP21, and all leaders agree that the two important issues in facing the world today, one is climate change, the other is terrorism. And both these issues, France and India cooperate in a manner that is very, very close and on which we have very, very similar views. So I think it's significant that during, as you rightly said, Prime Minister Modi took over as the Prime Minister of India in May 2014. In a period of about a year and a half, there has been a lot of dynamic steps taken in foreign policy, including with France. What Prime Minister Modi has brought in terms of diaspora policy is to treat the diaspora as an asset, that they are our ambassadors, unofficial ambassadors, that they are an asset and that they need to be recognized for their role and contribution. So you will notice that wherever he has gone, whether it is France, United States, UK, he makes it a point to address the diaspora, to have as many people as possible and convey them a message. And the message is two or three things. One, his message is that India has changed. So you need to be conscious of that as Indian diaspora. Second, he makes it a point to underline the important role played by the diaspora. For example, he was the only Prime Minister I know who went to Neuve-Chapelle in France and to just pay tribute to the Indian soldiers who participated in World War I. No other Prime Minister who ever came to France did it. He did it because he takes this very seriously, that the role played by the Indian diaspora. And lastly, he always makes it a point to appeal to the diaspora to say that why don't you participate in the economic and social development of India, whether it is Make in India, whether it is the Clean Ganga project, or it is just adopting a village and establishing a school, for example, or clean toilets, Swachh Bharat campaign, the Clean Bharat campaign, or the Clean India campaign. So I think it's fair to say that he has strengthened the link between the mother country and the diaspora, and he is also in the process, as you rightly hinted, he has motivated the host governments to look at the diaspora in a different way, in a positive way, to say that, listen, these are our people, but they are making an important contribution. For me, I mean, I don't hide from you that it's been a love affair, isn't it, with France and the French language. I'm particularly proud to let you know that I'm one of the few Indian diplomats who speaks the language. I'm extremely proud of that. My wife speaks it as well. So, it's great to be able to stay in France and speak in a language, because everybody knows that the French take their language very seriously, as everybody should. But I think it's fantastic. I'll not hide from you the fact that I'm absolutely delighted to be back in Paris. I was here, as you say, 6 years ago as a deputy, and now I'm back as ambassador. But more than anything else, I'm happy to be ambassador at a time when things are happening. And that, to some extent, you attribute it to luck. To some extent, it is the government led by Prime Minister Modi. But I also believe that I can make a contribution. When there is a combination of circumstances and there is an opportunity, you try to make a contribution as ambassador to try and take relations forward. So I believe that I'm both fortunate and that I'm particularly lucky to be here at this point of time when the relationship between the two countries, as you said earlier, is being taken to the next level.